The human brain, a complex organ that governs our thoughts and actions, holds a trove of peculiar and unusual facts. As we delve into the intricacies of this enigmatic mass of neurons, be prepared to encounter a series of curious, and at times, perplexing revelations about the functioning of the brain. These weird facts shed light on the remarkable, yet sometimes bizarre nature of the organ that dictates our every move and cognition. Without much ado, let's unravel the peculiarities that make the brain a subject of fascination and bewilderment. 1. You can lose half of your brain and still be okay. The notion that humans can lose half of their brain and still function relatively normally might seem counterintuitive at first, but there are fascinating examples in medical literature of individuals who have undergone a hemispherectomy, a surgical procedure where one hemisphere of the brain is either partially or entirely removed. This procedure is typically performed as a last resort to treat severe and intractable epilepsy. The brain is a remarkably adaptable organ, and its ability to reorganize itself is known as neuroplasticity. In the case of a hemispherectomy, the remaining hemisphere takes on the functions that would have been performed by the removed hemisphere. This process is more successful in young children, as their brains are more flexible and can adapt more readily than those of adults. The remaining hemisphere compensates for the lost functions by reorganizing neural pathways and assuming control over various cognitive and motor functions. Remarkably, individuals who have undergone hemispherectomies at a young age can go on to lead relatively normal lives. 2. 80% of the brain is water. Approximately 80% of the human brain is water, highlighting the essential role this liquid plays in maintaining the brain's optimal function. It serves various vital functions critical to our overall well-being. Water is a fundamental component of the cerebrospinal fluid that surrounds the brain, providing a protective cushion against shocks and impacts. Moreover, water is involved in facilitating communication between brain cells. Neurons, the building blocks of the nervous system, transmit electrical signals and chemical messages, and water acts as a medium for these transmissions. Proper hydration is crucial for maintaining optimal brain health and function. Dehydration can lead to a range of cognitive impairments, including difficulty concentrating, memory lapses, and a decline in mental clarity. As water levels decrease, the brain's ability to perform at its peak is compromised, underscoring the importance of staying adequately hydrated for optimal mental function. 3. Brain activity after death. After a person dies, scientists have discovered that certain parts of the brain can remain active for a short period. This may seem surprising because we often think that everything stops when someone passes away. Researchers have found that even after the heart stops beating and the person is declared dead, some brain cells can still function. This activity seems to occur in specific regions of the brain and lasts for a brief time. The exact reasons for this post-death brain activity are not fully understood, but some theories suggest that it could be related to a lack of oxygen or other factors. Scientists are still exploring and studying this phenomenon to gain a better understanding of what happens in the brain after death. It's important to note that this discovery doesn't imply consciousness or awareness after death. The brain activity observed is more of a biological response and doesn't indicate any form of continued life or consciousness. 4. The brain does not feel pain. Unlike other parts of the body, the brain lacks nociceptors, which are specialized nerve cells responsible for detecting and transmitting signals of pain. Nociceptors are found in various tissues and organs throughout the body, including the skin, muscles, and internal organs, but they are notably absent in the brain. When other parts of the body experience injury or damage, nociceptors send signals to the brain, which then interprets these signals as pain. However, when it comes to the brain itself, there are no nociceptors to initiate this pain signaling process. The brain is the central control center for the body, responsible for processing information, coordinating functions, and regulating bodily processes. If the brain were to experience pain directly, it could interfere with its ability to carry out these essential functions. While the brain itself may not feel pain, the surrounding structures and tissues can. For example, headaches, which are often associated with pain, can be caused by various factors such as tension, inflammation, or changes in blood flow affecting these surrounding structures. 5. Brain freeze. The phenomenon commonly referred to as brain freeze is not actually a freeze of the brain itself. The term is a colloquial name for a type of headache that people experience when they consume something cold, like ice cream or a frozen beverage, too quickly. This type of headache occurs when something cold comes into contact with the roof of the mouth, particularly the area near the sphenopalatine ganglion, a cluster of nerves. When the cold substance makes contact, it causes the blood vessels in the palate to constrict and then rapidly dilate. This sudden change in blood flow triggers pain signals that are sent to the brain, leading to the sharp and intense headache that is commonly associated with brain freeze. It's interesting to note that the brain itself does not freeze during this process. The pain originates from the rapid constriction and dilation of blood vessels in the mouth, not from any freezing or damage to the brain tissue. 6. Men have larger brains than women. While it is true that on average, men tend to have larger brain sizes than women, it is crucial to understand that brain size alone does not determine intelligence or cognitive abilities. Additionally, individual differences within each gender are substantial, and there is significant overlap in brain size between men and women. The size difference in the brains of men and women is often attributed to differences in overall body size, as larger bodies generally require larger organs. However, the relationship between brain size and intelligence is complex, and many factors contribute to cognitive abilities. Researchers have found that women tend to have a higher percentage of gray matter, which is associated with processing information in localized areas of the brain. On the other hand, men often have a higher percentage of white matter, which facilitates communication between different regions of the brain. These structural differences may contribute to variations in cognitive strengths and weaknesses between genders. 7. Brain rewires itself to enhance other senses in blind people. The human brain is a remarkably adaptive organ, capable of reshaping itself in response to changing circumstances. One of the most fascinating examples of this adaptability is found in individuals who are blind. When deprived of the visual input that most people rely on, the brain undergoes a process known as neuroplasticity, wherein it reorganizes itself to enhance other senses. In the absence of sight, the brain begins to allocate resources and rewire neural pathways to heighten the sensitivity of remaining sensory modalities, such as hearing, touch, and spatial awareness. This adaptive phenomenon allows blind individuals to develop an extraordinary level of proficiency in utilizing their remaining senses to navigate and interact with the world around them. One of the key areas of the brain involved in this rewiring process is the occipital cortex, traditionally associated with vision. In blind individuals, this region undergoes functional changes and is repurposed to process information from non-visual senses. 8. Brainprints. Brainprints are like special patterns in our brains that are different for each person, just like how our fingerprints are unique. These brainprints are made up of the way our brains work, and they can be used to tell one person apart from another. Scientists use machines like MRIs and EEGs to look at our brains and see these patterns. They find out how our brains react to different things, like when we think or feel something. This information creates a sort of signature for each person. People are interested in brainprints because they can be a super secure way to identify someone. Unlike passwords or cards, which someone could copy, brainprints are unique to each individual. This makes them useful for keeping important things safe, like computers or places that need extra security. 9. Mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are a type of neuron that fires both when an individual performs an action and when they observe someone else performing the same action. These neurons were first discovered in the early 1990s by Italian neuroscientists Giacomo Rizzolatti, Vittorio Gallis, and Leonardo Fogassi while studying macaque monkeys. The term mirror neuron was coined to describe these neurons due to their ability to mirror the activity of others. The significance of mirror neurons lies in their potential role in understanding and imitating the actions of others. They are believed to play a crucial role in social cognition, empathy, and the ability to understand the intentions and emotions of others. The mirror neuron system is thought to be involved in various cognitive processes, including imitation, learning through observation, and the formation of social bonds. 10. Humans don't use 10% of their brains. The statement, "Humans only use 10% of their brains," is a widespread misconception that has been perpetuated for many years. Despite its popularity, there is no scientific basis for this claim. The idea likely originated from a misinterpretation of neurological research or misattributed quotes. In reality, modern neuroscience has shown that the brain is a highly complex and active organ, with virtually every part serving some function. Neuroimaging technologies, such as functional magnetic resonance imaging and positron emission tomography, allow scientists to observe brain activity in real time. These studies consistently demonstrate that various regions of the brain are active during different tasks and even when at rest. In fact, even seemingly simple actions, such as blinking or breathing, involve the coordinated activity of multiple brain areas. It would be biologically wasteful for such a sophisticated organ to have a large percentage of its capacity lying dormant. While it is true that there is much we still don't understand about the brain, the idea that we only use 10% of it is not a reflection of this lack of knowledge. Rather, it is a myth that has been debunked by scientific evidence. Every part of the brain has a purpose, and even though the functions of some areas may not be fully understood, they are undoubtedly contributing to the overall complexity of human cognition and behavior. 11. You don't love anyone with all your heart. The notion of love being associated with the heart is deeply ingrained in cultural expressions, literature, and everyday language. However, from a scientific perspective, love is not a product of the heart but rather a complex interplay of various neural and hormonal processes in the brain. The brain is the central organ responsible for interpreting and processing emotions, including love. When people experience love, whether it's romantic, platonic, or familial, specific regions of the brain become active. The brain releases neurotransmitters and hormones, such as dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, which contribute to the feelings associated with love. The heart's involvement in love is metaphorical and symbolic. In ancient cultures, the heart was considered the seat of emotions, including love. Over time, this metaphorical association has persisted in art, literature, and everyday expressions. The idea that love originates in the heart might be linked to the physical sensations people experience when they are in love or emotionally moved. Increased heart rate, palpitations, and a warm feeling in the chest are physical manifestations of emotional arousal, but they are reactions to the signals sent by the brain. 12. The brain is the only organ that named itself. It's quite interesting to note that the brain is the only organ in our body that has given itself a name. When we say brain, we are referring to the very organ that allows us to think, feel, and experience the world. Unlike other organs, the brain has this unique ability to recognize and label itself. This ability to name itself showcases a level of self-awareness that sets the brain apart from other organs. While the heart pumps blood, and the lungs facilitate breathing, the brain not only carries out complex cognitive functions but also has the capacity to understand its own role in the body. This phenomenon highlights the intricate nature of the brain and its central role in shaping our understanding of ourselves and the world. It's a reminder of the incredible capabilities of the human brain and its unique position as the orchestrator of our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. Thanks for watching. For more delicious facts, please subscribe.